Joining us right now from DC United, a friend of mine, a friend of yours out there, defender Kofi Opare. Kofi, welcome, my friend.
Anthony, thanks for having me on your show.
Always a pleasure, my man. Always great to have you on. And look, I thought of you right away when I knew that Seattle was going to take on TFC as a guy that has played a number of games in MLS, a defender. I want you to break it down for me. Let's look at this Seattle lineup because you know them well and you know TFC's lineup as well. When you look at Nicolas Lodeiro or Christian Roldan or Jordan Morris, the young superstar, as a defender, how do you go about doing your homework before the game starts? Are you looking at tape? Are you talking to other players around the league on what to look for into how to contain these players? Tell us.
Yes, the guys you just mentioned right now, they're very dominant in this league. And I think you didn't mention Ozzy Alonso, who I think is one of the best holding midfielders in the league. When you're scouting these guys, obviously you want to know the strengths and the weaknesses, and you want them to go to the weaker foot, or you want them to do something that would do the least amount of damage. So, like I said, for example, if you're playing against Lodeiro, I think you want to focus on getting the ball to his right foot as opposed to his left foot, because we have known the danger of the damage he has done with that left foot of his. I just think, Seattle's a team that are gelling at the right time, especially if they look towards the lateral parts of the season. And they have multiple options that can hurt you. Whether it's Jordan Morris, whether it's Nelson Valdez, who has been scoring some goals in the playoffs, whether it's the outside backs, Mears or Jovan Jones pushing up to put pressure, whether the center backs are going up, because that's some big boys with Chad Marshall and Torres. They can hurt you in multiple ways. So it's going to be an exciting game just to watch two very good teams compete.
Some other storylines involved in this game coming Saturday, Kofi. Stephen Fry, former goalkeeper for a few years here with TFC. You mentioned Chad Marshall. This guy has a ton of experience, one of the veterans in all the league. He knows what it takes to win. He is a guy that has proven that he can survive. And this is a guy that I think is going to be key. Talk about Stephen Fry and what's going through his mind playing his former team. And then Chad Marshall brings a lot of experience to the table.
Yes, I think for Stephen Fry, it's going to be an emotional game because I believe that's where he started his career, was at Toronto. And, Toronto on the turf field. And for him to come back to BMO and see the changes that has occurred over the past few years, I think, it should definitely be surprising to him. Definitely be an emotional game for him to partake in. And so it should be good. It should be good. As far as Chad Marshall goes, to me, he's been one of the best center backs in the league. And he's one of these guys that I think it's very underrated. He gets the job done. He defends very well as a simple player. And he's very important in his team, and he's shown us when he played for Columbus for a few years, and now playing for Seattle. He's a very reliable player. So I think this game ultimately will come down to whichever team's defenders do the best job of neutralizing the other team's attackers, because you mentioned before with Jordan Morris, with Lodeiro, Seattle can hurt, or Seattle has players that can hurt Toronto in the attacking side of things, and Toronto with Altidore in very good form, with Giovinco, with Ricketts, with Osorio, Johnson, they have weapons too. So I just think this game comes down to which defense does a better job of neutralizing the other team's offense. So it should be a very exciting and entertaining finals.
Kofi, let's talk about Josie Altidore. Right now, he's an unstoppable freight train. He has played unbelievable in these playoffs. Giovinco goes out in that last game of the second leg against Montreal with cramps. Josie Altidore takes the game over with Michael Bradley, as you mentioned, Ricketts. But you as a defender, here's a guy that's 6 feet and is very hard to stop when he's in that box. How do you get this guy off his game? Do you chip away at him early on? Maybe do you trash talk him? What do you do to a guy like this to get him off his game?
I mean, to be honest with you, a player like Josie, he's a powerful force. He's extremely strong. He's very athletic. He has good feet. And I think, a way to, I guess, neutralize him or to get in his head is, before or right when the game starts, you want to let him know that it's going to be a battle. You don't want to make it too comfortable for him, because once he gets going, I think everyone has seen the damage he can do. Whether it's for club or country, and to me, right now, he's definitely one of the best strikers in this league, and his confidence is flowing, and the team believes in him, the city believes in him, and it's going to be hard to put him off his game. But that's definitely the challenge for the Seattle backline, is to neutralize him, or I think most importantly, stop the ball from reaching him. Stop the ball from reaching him and Javinko, and Seattle might be successful that way.
Let's talk. Go ahead, Kofi.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, but it's not an easy job to mark a guy like Josie. He can hurt you in multiple ways. So it should be, like I said, an entertaining final.
Absolutely. If you're in that Seattle locker room, and then I'll get your thoughts if you're in that Toronto locker room just before you walk out the tunnel to start this game. If you're Seattle and you're telling your head coach is telling you guys you got to calm and get the crowd out of this, keep them calm, keep them quiet for the first 15 or 20 minutes. Do you believe that could be dangerous, or do you say to them, go toe-to-toe? And on the other side, if you're TFC, do you right away start as quick as you can and try to get as many dead ball situations that you can, set pieces, and burn this team like you did with Montreal? What's your thoughts in both locker rooms as you're making your way out there?
Yeah, if I was Seattle's coach or one of the players, I think the most important thing, like you stated, is to get the crowd out of it. Is to make Toronto feel uncomfortable. Whether that's, slowing the game down by going down, taking a foul, or the ball goes out of bounds, or walking over to get the ball. You want to get the crowd out of it, because we know how these Toronto fans are. They're very passionate, they're very emotionally involved in the game. And once they get going, obviously it sparks the team. And it's a domino effect, and, it's very dangerous for opposing teams. So as far as Seattle goes, I would say no, don't try to go toe-and-toe with them, especially at home at BMO Field. I'll say, if anything, just slow the game down, and with the pace they have as well, with Morris up top and Ladero, rely on the counterattack, which I think could help Seattle. And as far as Toronto goes, you're at home, your fans are behind you. Go for it. Go for it. Don't let anything. Literally, they have their own destination, their own destiny in their own hands, and they should just feel comfortable, feel confident. Because they're flying real high right now, especially at home. So they should just go for it. And they have the players with Giovinco, with Brad, with Altidore, who can decide the game. And those guys are playing extremely well right now. So yeah, it should be exciting, entertaining game.
My concern, if I'm a TFC supporter, is this, Kofi. I'd like to get your thoughts. If they're going into halftime and it's 0-0, then you can sense, from me anyway, that maybe they're starting to get more and more tense out there beginning that second half, that those collars on those jerseys are starting to get tighter and tighter, and you feel one mistake that they make, Seattle could capitalize. We saw it with Jordan Morris. We saw the way Ladero is playing, and then you have an unbelievable finish to the end. Your thoughts?
Yes, no, it's definitely makes sense. From a fan's perspective, going into the halftime at 0-0, But I think as far as the players, as far as they go, I think Toronto locker room, they have enough veterans, who have been to MLS Cup Final, or who have played in MLS Cup Finals in the past, who have played in big games for the club or country. So they know what goes involved. They know the pressure. They know how to what do you call it? They know how to calm the guys down. They know how to encourage them. If you look at guys like, we brought up obviously Bradley. We talked about Altidore, playing big games, but we haven't talked about Drew Moore, who I think is one of the best defenders in the league this season. With his experience, with him winning, I believe, the title with Colorado, with Beta Shore, who's playing in the league for multiple years, with Morrow, there, with Cheru, like Toronto, they have veteran guys that have. Did I mention Will Johnson? I'm not sure, but that's another one who has won MLS titles before, so they know what it takes to win it. So I think they're going to be extremely important in keeping the guys focused, even if they go down at halftime, and keeping the guys focused and knowing that, hey, this is a long game, and I think they can always reflect back on the Montreal game as a source of encouragement, a source of hope, to propel them into the second half or for the rest of the game.
Kofi, last point I'd like to get from you as we let you go is this. Obviously, TFC playing on home, beautiful grass, one of the best facilities, not only in MLS, but I believe in all over the world. The grounds crew have done an unbelievable job. Seattle, their field, we know, is not pure grass, and we know that the bounce is different from where they play their home games and the way TFC plays their home games. Your thought on that, and also the cold weather that's being anticipated for Saturday night. I was covering the last MLS Cup here in Toronto, Colorado, and FC Dallas. It was cold, but it wasn't overly cold where players really couldn't focus and really understand the job at hand because their mind wasn't working because it was just too cold. So I believe that might play a little part Saturday. You?
Yeah, going back to the field situation, what you brought up, the Seattle team, even though they do play on turf, they train on grass. So I think as far as the pitch goes per se, I don't think any of their players will use that as an excuse, because like I said before, they train on grass. So I think they'll be ready for the battle without any excuses. And you brought up the weather. Obviously, the cold weather is, I guess, maybe a climate with the Seattle players might be more unfamiliar with than the Toronto players, but I think it's going to hit both teams equally as hard. When it's cold for both teams. When it's hot for both teams. So it should be a very interesting game. And I just remember a few years ago when, I want to say Salt Lake played Kansas City. I just remember watching how cold that game was on TV, and knowing that this weekend might be that cold. So, for the players, it's obviously gonna affect them. But I think once the game gets going, with the adrenaline, with just the magnitude of the situation, it wouldn't be too bad for them. So it should be interesting. But yeah, Anthony.
Kofi, as we let you go, let's not focus in on the game we love so much and the game you play as a professional. Let's focus in very quickly on something you and I are very, near and close to is giving back as much as we can to the community and kids. It's Christmas time. It's the holiday season in December. We have so much to be thankful for. You and I, our families, my sons, your family. We have so much. But I know, honestly speaking, for myself and my family at our church, we try to collect as many things as we can to send off to Zambia, whether it's used soccer shoes, brand new jerseys, you name it. I don't think sometimes we grasp and understand here in North America how great we have it. You tell us.
No, you are exactly right. Over here we have an abundance of abundance of goods, whether it's, or material items, I should say. So whether it's, clothes, shoes, whether it's having a roof on top of our head, whether it's having a place to sleep, or food on our tables, and things we take for granted because it's there every single day. Where if you look at other parts of the world, people are not as fortunate, to live in such conditions. And it's easy to kind of overlook it when you don't see, or when you don't, I guess, look beyond your current situation. And people are struggling out there. And just for like the basic needs, just for access to clean water. And I think for all of us, not just you and I, it's our duty to help out in any way we can. And it doesn't have to be something grand, like sending a couple $1 million over to this charity or not, but just helping out your own community, helping out those people who need clothes, who need shelter, who even need a hug. Something as little as that. I think we can all do our bit to make the lives of other people better,
Well said, Kofi. You're a beautiful player, but you're a better human being. We wish you nothing but success in 2017. Enjoy the holiday season. Enjoy the game, my man. And again, we always thank you for making time to join us here on Red Card.
Anthony, thank you very much for having me on your show. I always enjoy our time together.